Hey, hi everyone. Welcome back again to live stream session with Team Axiom. Today's agenda is a bit different and interesting. Guys who wanna establish themselves as a full stack developer or the back-end developer will this particular session is for everyone, not only for only the back-end developers or the front-end developers, because these are the latest technical stacks what we are using. APIs plays a very vital role in the development today. Let us start from the basics. What exactly we mean by the APIs? So to understand the APIs, let's go to that era where the applications are of type of a desktop applications. Desktop applications means an applications which runs on a single machine. The front end, the back end, the processing logic, everything is available on a single machine, right? In that type of applications, nothing was shared with anyone. Only single user can able to handle, manage that applications. Then the slowly the it comes for distributed applications, and then comes the era of web architecture or web applications, right? In case of desktop applications, the developers who might be aware about uh, or worked rather in the 1998 era, they might be aware about the DLL, dynamic link libraries. Means whenever there is any requirement of processing logic, we'll be linking the libraries, right? Then comes after the evaluation of internet, right, and development of the web architecture, where the presentation layer, application layer, and the data layer, all the three things are available on the web server now, and the clients are requesting through the URL, HTTP, and then the clients will be requesting to the server, and the request response develops over there. In that web architecture, the everything is available on a one server. This is called as monolithic architecture of development. Right? Let us understand this in the reference of, let's say, you produce a real estate application. So the front end of real estate application, you can able to perform sign up, login, able to list out all the properties. So for every reason that request goes to the server, the application logic, the business logic process that data with the help of database and develop the response for you. And you can able to perform sign up, you can able to list out all the properties and the business you can do. But only that application client can able to access that business logic and data logic, right? It cannot be shared with different applications. For example, now you understand about the real estate applications. The that application logic is shared only to that particular owner's client, sort of, right? But let's say now that company, real estate company, grows to a more level, and they have the collaboration with various other companies as well, right? Earlier, they were serving to their own clients only, so that all the clients, their end users, through their URLs, they will be connecting to the applications and share that all the resources available in the applications. But now they grown up to the global level, so they have the B2B also, and various applications. They have a collaborations with many other companies as well. So in such situations, that monolithic architecture won't work, right? Because front end will be of different applications, right? And as on required, they'll be connecting to the real estate application server and fetch that particular data. This A.com, B.com, C.com, D.com. I'm just like taking examples. These are all of the real estate applications, and they want to share the server logic, real estate server logic available on the real estate server. So in such situations, monolithic architecture won't work. You need APIs. Stands for application programming interface. It's a combination of that processing logic which don't have the front end, right? It is available in the format of endpoints, and these APIs need to be integrated to the various front ends, right? It's like once you have a collaborations, there is a one can say the legal contract of processing logic between the various front ends, and the backend logic can be shared by the applications. So in that way, one API server can able to share the logic to various front ends, whether it's a desktop applications, whether it's a web applications, whether it's a mobile applications, right? If you're saying you are using an app, what app will provide to you? It's like just the front end, but the entire processing logic is available somewhere on the server, right? So as I explained you about the client server architecture, where clients make the request and server posts and develop the response. Now here in this case, right, to replace the monolithic architecture, we have the any clients, right, irrespective of any front ends, who is having a authentication key or the collaborations to connect with the server. That APIs gets a call, and client will get the response accordingly. It means to share the resources available on the web server, API architecture works, right? So hope you understand exactly the Team Axiom will give you more details about what exactly API means, and obviously first of all we need to understand what, and then why and how we can develop APIs. At the same time, we need to understand what are the various types of APIs. APIs are basically, it's not it's a as I told you, the API means a general form of APIs, but there are REST APIs, the architectural style we all use. APIs can be termed as a microservices also, decomposing the monolith into independently deployable APIs. The APIs can be other types like called as serverless APIs also, where no server management is required, right? So there are uh, many many types of APIs as well. So today with the team Axiom, what we are going to do, first of all, let's understand conceptually what is API, what are the various types of API, their purpose, right? And as backend developers, right, are going to produce these all the APIs, and APIs are available in the endpoint formats. Endpoints means like obviously there is the URL and means how you can make a request to the, because that these APIs provided by the backend developers, we need to integrate to the front ends, right? So API documentation plays a very vital role. So how to document the APIs, how to test the APIs, because you have to test on the whether that APIs are giving a proper response or not. Right? So these like how to test the APIs, how to document the APIs, what are the various tools like a Swagger we are using for the documentations and testing the APIs at the same time. The popular tool called as Postman we are using for testing the APIs. So first of all, let us, instead of discussing more conceptually, let us discuss it, the concept of it, what APIs means, types of APIs, how we can write the APIs, how we can test the APIs, and finally, with the team Axiom, we'll be able to provide you the uh, it's a testing environment we are going to produce where we can test the applications. That is called as sandbox testing and all. So these all the I'm just this is the introductory things what I'm going to provide to you. Is better. Let's understand these all the concepts well with team Axiom, so that they can give us the guidelines about the conceptualizations and everything related to the APIs, right? And let's make this uh, forum interesting. If you have any questions on this, like do comment us. If you're uh, if you are viewing us lively, comment us over there, and then so that like, we can able to answer. So I'll be handing over these sessions to team Axiom, and I'll be back again with the various detailed analysis, right? And the queries to answer the queries fired by you. Over to team Axiom.
Welcome everyone. Today, I am going to present an overview of modern API development, including APIs, REST APIs, microservices, serverless APIs, Swagger, and sandbox testing. In today's digital world, almost every applications depend on APIs, whether it's online payment, social media login, food delivery apps, or cloud services. APIs enable different systems to communicate and work together seamlessly. As applications continue to grow, organizations are adopting microservices and serverless architectures to build scalable and efficient solutions. Let's explore what these technologies are, why they are important, and how they work together in modern software development. Let's begin by understanding what an API is. APIs stand for Application Programming Interface. An API acts as a bridge that allows different software applications to communicate and exchange data with each other. Whenever you log in with Google, make an online payment, or check the weather app on your phone, APIs are working behind the scenes. In simple terms, API help applications share information and functionality in a secure and standardized way. Now, the question is, why are APIs so important? Modern applications rely on multiple services working together. APIs make this possible by enabling seamless communication between systems. They help businesses reduce development time, automate processes, improve scalability, and deliver better user experience. For example, instead of building a complete payment system from scratch, an e-commerce company can simplify, integrate a payment API, and start accepting online payments. This allows businesses to focus on their core product while leveraging existing services. Now, let's understand how APIs work. The process starts with a client application send a request to an API. The API receives the request and forward it to the server for processing. The server may retrieve data from a database, perform calculations, or execute business logic. Once the operation is completed, the API sends a response back to the client. The request and response cycle happens within seconds and power most of the digital experience we use every day. Now that we understand APIs, let's look at the most widely used type of API, which is REST API. REST stands for Representational State Transfer. It is an architectural style that uses HTTP methods such as GET, POST, PUT, and DELETE for communication. REST APIs are lightweight, scalable, and easy to implement, making them the preferred choice for web and mobile applications. Today, most modern applications communicate using REST APIs. A common question is, what is the difference between an API and a REST API? An API is a general concept that defines how applications communicate with each other. A REST API is a specific type of API that follows REST principle and uses HTTP for communication. Simply put, every REST API is an API, but not every API is a REST API. REST is just one of the several API architectures available today. One of the most common use of APIs is integrating third-party services. Third-party API integration allows businesses to connect their application with external platforms and services. Popular examples including Google Maps, Twilio, Razorpay, PayPal, and OpenAI APIs. Instead of building this functionality from scratch, developer can integrate existing services quickly and efficiently. This saves development time, reduce cost, and accelerate innovation. Before we discuss microservices, let's first understand monolithic architecture. In a monolithic application, all modules such as user management, payments, notification, and reportings are built within a single code base and deployed together. While this approach works well for smaller applications, it becomes difficult to scale and maintain as the system grows. This challenge led organizations to adopt a more flexible architecture known as microservices. Microservices architecture breaks an application into smaller, independent services. Each service focuses on a specific business function and can be developed, deployed, and scaled independently. These services communicate with each other through APIs. For example, an e-commerce application may have separate services for users, product, order, and payments. This architecture improves scalability, flexibility, and system reliability. Let's compare monolithic and microservices architecture. In a monolithic system, all components are tightly coupled and deployed as a single application. In microservices architecture, services are dependent and can be deployed separately. This makes microservices easier to scale, maintain, and update. As a result, most large-scale modern applications prefer microservices over monolithic systems. Many people think APIs and microservices are the same, but they serve different purposes. Microservices define how an application is structured. APIs define how system and services communicate. In fact, microservices really heavy on APIs to exchange information with each other. So APIs are the communication layer while microservices are the architectural design. Now let's look at the another modern approach called serverless APIs. A serverless APIs run on a cloud managed infrastructure where developers do not need to manage servers. Platforms such as AWS Lambda automatically handle scaling, maintenance, and resource allocation. Developers can focus only on writing business logic while the cloud provider manages the infrastructure. This reduces operational cost and improves scalability. Building API is only one part of the process. Proper documentation and testing are equally important. Swagger is a tool that helps developers document, visualize, and test APIs. It provides an interactive interface where API endpoint can be explored and tested directly from the browser. Swagger improves collaboration between developers, tester, and the stakeholders while making API development more efficient. Now, let's understand what a sandbox is and why it's important. A sandbox is a separate testing environment that closely resembles the live production system. It allows developers and testers to safely test APIs, integration, and new features without affecting real users or business data. Organizations use sandbox environment before deployment to validate functionality, debug issues, and ensure everything works correctly. The main benefit includes risk-free testing, safe API integration, early issue detection, and protection of sensitive data. In simple terms, a sandbox acts as a safe playground where developer can test and validate solutions before releasing them to the production environment. Let's quickly understand the sandbox installation workflow. This diagram shows the complete process of enabling Windows Sandbox on a system. First, we verify that the system meets the necessary requirements such as virtualization support, sufficient transient memory, and security. And version of Windows. Next, we enable the sandbox environment by configuring BIOS and UEFI settings. Next, we enter the BIOS or UEFI settings and enable the hardware virtualization such as Intel BTX or AMD V. After saving the changes and restarting the system, we enable the Windows Sandbox features from the Windows Features setting. Once the system restart again, Windows Sandbox became available and can be launched from the Start menu. This provides a secure, isolated environment where application and files can be tested safely without affecting the main operating system. In conclusion, APIs are the foundation of modern software application. REST APIs provide standardized communication, third-party APIs accelerate development, microservices improve scalability, and serverless API simplify infrastructure management. Swagger helps document and test APIs effectively, while sandbox environments ensure safe and reliable testing. Together, these technologies enable organizations to build scalable, efficient, and future-ready applications. Thank you for your time and attention. That was all about APIs, REST APIs, third party integration, monolithic architecture, microservices, serverless APIs, Swagger, and sandbox testing. Over to you.
So I'll share my screen. Give me a moment. So, all right, everything you just saw on the slides, the theory about the API, REST API, microservices, Swagger, sandboxes, we have actually built every single one on those things right here on my machine. Let me walk you through it. Through it all works, and I will explain the code as we go. So, first of all, I will show the project structure. So we have here. Here is the project I have built following the microservices structure from the slides. I have got three separate routes, files, user, product, orders, each acting like its own mini services. That is monolith and microservices. Slide made real. I also have my Swagger configuration, two environment files, and a sandbox folder. As here we can see, we will get to each of these. Each route file, user.js, product.js, order.js, is a separate express router. In app.js, we have different paths slash API slash users where the endpoints are defined and each executes as per environment we have and the request we get from the user and it sends the responses. This exactly microservice thinking. Each service owns its own routes and logic. Like here we can see the here is the some register routers, that is slash API users slash API products and slash API orders. To see what exactly the data contains, like the user data we will able to see here, the products data we will able to see, and the orders placed till now and the pending. This particular data we will able to get in the responses. Now let me start the server. And firstly, so the server is already running. We have to just run the command node app.js. So on the this was the particular server where our code is executed. We will test it in the firstly in the Swagger. Now notice it printed the environment name that is coming from our .env file via the .env package. First of all, I will open this .env file. As we can see, we are defined here the 3000 port in the development. The node, the environment, it is the development. The API version v1 we can define as per our choice we want, and the app name livestream API demo. In the app.js, the very first line is required .env.config. This loads .env before anything else runs. That is why .env and .port and process .env.app underscore name are available throughout the file. I will open the API docs first. Simply what I will do is I'll copy this URL, or if I click, this document will be open. This entire documentation page was auto-generated. I did not write a single line of HTML. Swagger and hyphen JSDocs reads the JSDoc comments above each route and the Swagger UI Express renders. As in the code, we can see these using comments we are defined, and if it will be generated automatically in our document that is generated by the Swagger. Uh, yeah, let me click try it out and get the product response. So we will run this. So once we click on try it out, we have to click on execute. We will able to see the call request. The call means whatever the URL and the endpoints we have, it will be defined here. The request URL, how it will be, it same URL we can paste it in your Postman and get the response using the get method. And in the response body, we will able to see all the products which are present in your database or the data set we have, and we will able to see the success response here and the data in the JSON format, and the headers we will able to also see here. And coming over to the next APIs, like the user one. Once I click on try it out, we'll click on execute. As this is the get response, so we don't have to pass any data here. Using the post method only, we will send some data to get some response. So in the get request, we simply have to try it out and they execute it. So we'll get that responses. As the get meaning refers to, we have to get something from the API we have. The we're able to see the response body. In that, how many users are present, that users data we are able to see here. Same REST API we will able to test here, as we are able to see here, using the ID we can able to generate the data. Once I click on try it out, I will simply type here 1 and execute. I will get that ID data in this particular response body. Next, coming over to the other APIs, the same I will perform in the Postman also. So in this get API, we're able to see how many orders we have. The API orders is the endpoint. So here the data is currently empty, as no order has been placed till now. Once we place the any order, as we can see here, and there is the post API where we are able to place a new order. Once I click and try it out, we will simply able to edit the values, and the product ID will assign as 1 and the quantity will assign as 3. So we will able to get the response body, that the order is placed for the ID number 1, the user ID is 1, and the product ID was 1. The product ID refers to, in this product section we'll able to see some products has been defined here. Wait a minute. Okay, in the get we'll able to see that. Once I click on execute, yeah, here we are able to see the ID one is the wireless headphones and the price is 299 and the stock is 50. Here the one order is placed by the user one, so we can able to see that in the retrieve all orders data. In simply one particular order we can also able to get it. So as we can see here, this particular API was of get particular orders, whatever is placed in your platform, we'll able to get that. So in the response body we are able to see that ID1 has placed the or product one, that is Bluetooth headphones we see just saw now, and the quantity is 3, and the status we'll able to see here placed. Now coming over to next APIs, delete the product IDs. If we want to delete any particular product, we just simply have to click try it out. We'll type here 1, and once I click on execute, that product will be deleted from our dataset, as we are able to see the response body as success through and the message is deleted. Now coming over to the Postman. So these all are the route collection we have. I have already created that, and these all the APIs endpoints has been defined in my code. I will tell you what conditions I have applied in my code even to generate a proper response using these APIs. So these are the 10 test cases covering both success and failure for every endpoint. So first of all, coming over to this endpoint slash API slash user. Here we will expect the response is 200. So first of all, I will execute this. What we will get here is all the user data we will able to receive here. So in the code, as we see, here we are defined the slash, and from this particular array we are able to get that data, and data users, it will be printed in our response. So here is the response and request and response function. So as it is a get request, we don't need any uh, parents to pass here. Now simply we go to slash API slash user one. Means this particular endpoint means we have to get the data of particular member, what is whichever data present in our database. Suppose using the ID we will able to receive that particular person data. I will write here 2, and once I click on send request, the whichever ID is present for particular person, that data will be generated of the person we have. So using the user dot find function by ID, we are able to generate that, which is defined in our code. So as if, we are able to see, I have defined using that particular ID, we will able to receive that particular person data. This is the code we have done performed here. Now coming over the next is user data. Suppose if that particular ID is not present in your database, and so here that is 99, this particular data is not present in our database. So whatever response you will get, so in that simply we will get the response as user not found. This particular code has been defined in this router defined, as we are able to see, if not user return response the status 404, it will say send, and the success will be false, and the message user not found, it will send to that particular in the response it will send. Now coming over to the API products, in this we are expecting the 201 uh, as to be get in the response. Sorry, in the post method we will able to get as 201 is for the created one. If the user is created, so we will get the 201 response. In the post method we will able to see that. So as we able to see, the slash API slash product is our endpoint. So we are able to get all the data. As we see previously, we have deleted one of the data, that is ID, uh, using the ID one, so that Bluetooth headphones has been deleted from our data set. And Coming over to the next, the post slash API slash products. Here we are expecting 201. Once I click on this, I will add in this. This first of all we have selected the post request. Then the API slash products is our endpoint here, and in the body we are defined the name of that particular product, price, and the stock, how much stock is been there in with us. Once I click on send, so we'll able to see 201 created. This particular response 201 is able to get when we create some resources in our data set, and the data we are able to see with id 4, it is generated in our data set. Now coming over to this endpoint slash API slash products. This particular condition is even defined in our code. As we are sending the empty body, so that's why we are able to get the failed response here, and we are able to see 500 internal server error. So when you are using the post request, we have to send some request with some data, and we'll able to get that particular responses. As here we are able to see we have got the data response, and that particular data has been added to our data set. Now coming over to this delete one, this is the delete method. So using this, that particular data product will can be deleted. If you want to delete the second number of product which we have in our data set, we will able to delete that. As we are able to see the success response is through, and the message is we are able to see deleted. These all are defined in our products.js. If we check with our products, so we will able to see this data has been deleted. I will send once again request, so we are able to see that data is deleted from that particular data set. Just now we deleted the data which contains the id number 2. We will check with that using this particular endpoint. So yeah, we have received the response as success false, and the message is not found. We are able to get here. Next, coming here to the order API. So that particular endpoint is slash API slash orders. So using this, we are able to place the order as same I have show you in the Swagger interface. So for the particular user 2, we can place the order. We have the the product number 3. We can place the order, and the quantity amount we can place how much we want. 5 I will add here. Once I click on send, we are able to see that, but for particular user, the product 3 and the quantity 5 of the particular product has been placed to that person. So this was the testing part using the Postman. Now coming over to the Sandbox JSON server. I will run that first. If you remember the Sandbox slide, a safe environment that mimics a production without touching real data. With one command, the JSON file becomes a fully working REST API on the port 4000, completely separate from our main API on the port 3000. So it is already running. So using this particular command, we are able to run that sandbox environment. So this is the sandbox folder we have created. In that we have db.json. It's just a plain JSON file with the three arrays: user, product, orders. The JSON server reads that structure and automatically creates get, post, put, delete endpoints for each key. No code written by us. It's all automatic. So what I will do first of all, once again, I will run the command. So we are able to see the sandbox environment is live now. What I will do is I will go to the Postman. I will add a new user through that particular endpoint, and we can able to see that data in our JSON file which we have in the this particular folder. This is the particular data set we have it generated before only. So coming out to this sandbox one. So as you are able, I said I will add a new user. So once again, click on your post user. I will pass the name of that particular person, Sahil, his email. This particular API can be used to create the data of the user. Suppose the user is e- user will be logged to your platform, so he have to sign up first if he is not registered. So that data will be passed on using this API. So what's your his role? A developer, or the lead we can give even. So as you are able to see here, that particular the user data is created. In the production, this would be your real MySQL or MongoDB database, but in our sandbox, it is a safe JSON file. We can add, edit, delete anything on our real database. It is completely untouched. This is why every company, Razorpay, Swiggy, Zomato, has a sandbox environment. uh, I will show the environment files of this. As you can see, this is the env file. This is a production mode. And this particular is the sandbox one environment. So I have two environment files, one for normal development, one for sandbox mode. Let me run the app pointing to that sandbox config. The command I will execute that particular command. What we have. Simply I will type here node .env -config app.js config path and the environment of that whatever you are selecting, like sandbox environment .env .sandbox. We have to type here. Once I execute, we'll able to see here one config switch that. So this is the, we are able to see here the server running over the sandbox, which is on the port 4001, and the document also we have dummy document generated on the port 4001. So in the app.js, we read process.env.sandbox underscore mode to show a different banner, and the process.env port to listen on the 4001 instead of 3000. So no code change, just the configuration has been changed here. So currently this is the particular sandbox environment has been executed. So this one config switch sandbox underscore mode equal to true, and the entire app behaves differently. No code changes, no redeployment. This is exactly how the payment companies like Razorpay give you the test mode versus the live mode. As I show you the test mode, we are able to see on this particular URL or the 4001 URL, we are able to get the responses on that, and that particular data has been added to our just second. I will have to change some data here. Okay, that for the 4000 will try. I think for the 4001 has been crashed. Once again we will have to run that. Now I am going to show you something that no local server can do, a public sandbox URL that anyone in the world can call. So we can call this as a mock server, the public URL where the no server needed. So anyone can plug and play that with that particular URL. So how to generate that? In the Postman, once we click here, what I will do, I will click on add. In the mock, I will click. So as you have that particular collection with you, uh, our collection name was livestream API demo. What I will do is I will make a duplicate of that. Okay. So I will name it as the mock at the end. Now coming over to creating that particular URL, how we can create in this Postman. Simply I will click on this plus sign, and in the mock I will click. So here you have to give that particular server name, like I will give the ecom test. Okay, the collection we have to select here. This the particular collection we have to select. An environment is a group of area. This particular environment you have to select. what environment you, if you have created the environment, you can select that. But for dummy purpose, we are not created any environment till now. So, and similar to a fixed network delay, we can adjust here. Then save the mock server URL as a new environment variable. So as when you say save the clear means select this particular option, a environment variables will be containing with that particular URL. And here make a mock server private. If I recommend this always, because if you are creating the API, so you will have to add some authentication in that. So always you should proceed with this. Here the API key will be generated, and using that API key you will able to authenticate and send the means you can able to get the request and send get the response even. So as you are able to see, we have got this URL. After that also we have to do one more process, that is we have to go here and we have to add an example. As we will be providing this for the testing purpose to each provider whoever want this. So in the testing we will get the dummy example, so we have to add that example here. So once I click on add example, I am able to see the user data here in the response, and we can able to set here what response he should get. Headers we can also able to set here. And that particular user also have to set same headers as you have uh, made here, means created here, we can say. Once I click on try, and I have to click on save. Once I click on save, so using this particular endpoint in that particular URL, whatever we have generated, we can able to get the response in the test server. What I will do is I will copy that URL. This URL I will copy and try to get responses. Our endpoint was API user slash API user. Uh, just wait a minute. I'll try once again. Okay, so the response was not saved that, in this particular API. I will delete one and keep one endpoint only here. What I will do is I will click on try. Once I click on save, we can send the responses for that request we have got. So I will move over to that particular endpoint using that URL. So as we see in that URL, once we add the example in our for that particular endpoint, we'll able to get the responses for the testing purpose. This is exactly how team shares API before the backend is built. Front-end developer get a mock URL to code against, while backend developer are still writing the real API. The mock and the real API have the same URL structure, so when the real server is ready, you just swap the base URL. So now coming over to the serverless deployment on the Vercel, where we will not require any server. I have just created the one function which we can deploy on that server. Why we are calling it as a serverless? As Vercel have its own infrastructure, so in that using the two commands we can deploy that on our uh, in on our profile. Just we have to link with that with your created account on the Vercel. So as you can see, I have created one function here. What I have to do is here, I have to just uh, run one command, that is Vercel. It is already linked. If whenever you will try to deploy any code on the Vercel, you will be uh, show the screen. You will be seeing the screen of the authentication. Using that particular account, you have to authenticate where you have your account. So as we are able to see this particular response, we are able to get from Vercel infrastructure, and we can able to see the responses on that URL. In the end of the endpoint, we have to simply add the endpoint, that is API slash hello.js. So once I execute this, we will able to see the success through message hello world from the serverless. As simply it was the get response, so we are able to get that response from that live URL. So this is how you can deploy your particular API on the serverless infrastructure. So to recap, I have shown you our REST API running live auto-generated Swagger docs, 10 Postman test cases, covering success and the error scenarios, 3 sandbox methods, JSON server, environment switching, and a live Postman mock URL, and a serverless deployment on the Vercel. Everything from today's slides, APIs, REST, microservices, Swagger, Sandbox, and the serverless, all of it is built and working right here. Now I will hand over to my teammate Sahil, who will take us through the next part. Over to you.
Okay. Uh, thank you, Fanshu. It's a very good elaboration of APIs and all the summaries of serverless microservices, REST, and the Swagger API documentations. Now, also he explained about the sandbox testing. Now we'll have the last one topic, which is how sandbox is it looks like and how we install this. So in the previous section, first let me share my screen first. Um, right, hope my screen is visible to you all. Like we are having the slide with the Windows Sandbox enablement flow. So here, what we did, we have installed the Sandbox, Windows Sandbox in this system. As you can see that there's some methods already explained by my team member. So I'll just give a small brief to you all. Now, what we did here, it's like steps like start with the begin process to enable Windows Sandbox. Check system requirement. We check the system meets the requirements, like it's available or not. How can we say, check with this? So we have to just click on the command prompt and we have to enter here some command like system info dot exe. It's the execution file of a system. So it gives you all the information of your system. If you don't have access or enable the virtualization, so it will show here the virtualization is not enabled. But here I already installed that thing because this process is for is work when we are starting the system. We have to access the boot system. We have to follow some execution for like BIOS updates and the BIOS upgradations also for the installation of Sandbox in Windows. So these all are we are not able to share this thing. Because of that, we are having these methods we created in the slides. So we'll follow the steps like we check the system requirement, right? So in this system, we can see that the Hyper-V requirement, a hypervision has been detected, means already enabled. The feature required for the Hyper-V will not be displayed. So because of this thing, the virtualization of Sandbox is already enabled. That's why this line is showing here has been detected already. If it was not detected, so it will show like some another comments like I'll give a small comparison to you. Mm, okay, right. If you are having my screen, I'll just open my command prompt. Yeah, and I will ask the same command for here system info.exe for my system information. It will process all the information from my system and it will give you all the brief regarding what we have. So look, what's the difference is here. Everything is showing as already installed or whatever available in the system. But here something different is showing virtualization based security strategies not enabled. This is the key factor of this sandbox. While we are setting up the sandbox, Windows sandbox in our system. So these things says that directly we don't have the sandbox. So for what enabling these things, we have to enable that feature from the bias sections, and that bias will be toolbox will be open when the system is going to restart or we are going to log in again. That time only that terminal, the advanced feature will be open here. And look here, Hyper-V requirement is monitor and mode extensions is there and virtualization enable in firmware is no. It's directly saying that the virtualization of this Windows for the sandbox is not enabled here. So this was the before installation of sandbox is showing the for the system. This is a system server which is showing of my system side, and we have installed this all the setup in a development system. So we'll go back to the another slide. Right. So we are back. I will connect with the sandbox system. So I'm sharing my screen again. Hope my screen is visible to you all, and we'll go to the slide. Right. Yeah. So where we are. We check with the system requirement and we verify what is enabled or not. So in the previous system, my system don't have don't there is no enable system for the virtualization for the sandbox. So here we already set up all the things. We enter the BIOS, we restarted our system, we check with the BIOS and all the requirements. We enable the virtualization which we need for the sandbox. We enable the Intel virtualization X in the AMD.
is depend on your system which keywords we have to follow for the opening the bias. If for the HP system we can use F2 and delete. For the Dell system we go with the F9 or F10 continuously while restarting the system, right? Then only we'll open the bias interface. After the enabling of virtualization, we have to save and restart all the system. And there is a pathway we have to check with those all advanced feature, then the CPU configuration. Then we are having we'll open with the interface which is the virtualization, and we have to just enable this feature. After that, we have to restart the system again, and we'll have the enable windows with the sandbox feature. So after restart, we already have the sandbox. So we'll just we have to just open the Windows sections, and in the bottom section we have the Windows Sandbox featured available in this taskbar. So I have to just click this. Will minimize the slide. This is also, and here we having the virtual environment of entire system, which is for the security and testing purpose. Whatever the test case is done by the Himanshu is already tested in the system, but the sandbox is gives the a particular virtual interface environment where we can do anything which which we did with the Windows, exactly Windows. So the same feature like a new system. This is the tab which is the virtual environment for the Windows Sandbox, and here we are having all the features which we have in our exact window live system. So we can open the Microsoft Edge, we can open new accounts in the Chrome browser, we can open the file managers. Also, we will got some storage for the use as system works. It gives the storage exactly of a main um, main storage of a system like a C drive. So it gives primary location. We'll have the all the necessary which is Windows accessories, Windows administrative tools, and this all the desktop which is available in this file manager of a system. That all the things is available here. We check with this PC, and we'll have some storage also, which is local disk storage of 39.8 GB. Means whatever we have in the hardware system or a physical system, that all the things we got in this sandbox, which is in virtual environments. So that was the platform, and that was the sandbox, which gives a virtualization. And now we have the Microsoft Edge. We can download anything from this browser. So that will download in this virtual storage and virtual sandbox only. We'll download some Node.js, and the major part of this virtual sandbox is whatever you done with this virtual sandbox or execution or test cases or any downloads that will be available while the tab is open, that sandbox is open. If you want to close, if you want to close this tab, the entire data of this sandbox, whatever you downloaded, whatever you executed, whatever you tested here, that all the things will be permanently deleted from this virtual system. We'll try with some a file of Windows installer, and we try to download this. That will download in the virtual storage file manager just here. So I will open the file manager of Sandbox, and I will do the brief. Look, today there is no another file. Is showing the timeline, and this is the one single file is available in this Sandbox. So I will back, and I will check with the my file manager of a system. In the download section, there is a multiple files available, which is I already use in my local system. But there is no downloadable file which is I downloaded right now in the Sandbox. So this
This all the things is entirely different. Means whatever we did, whatever we tested in the sandbox, it will not interfere to your personal system or local system. That's why it is very secured. Before going to production, it is the testing virtual server, we can say that, or tool, which gives you the entire freely independent test cases you did here. Like we have downloaded this file and no other file. It's for the example only. All the test case already explained by the team member. I will just giving you the difference and why and what is sandbox and how we use. This is use cases of sandbox. If right now I'm going to close this window and I'll try to close the sandbox and we'll open sandbox again. So we'll check that this file is available or not. We'll close, and while closing, it will give you some warning message. Just I will read and you hear it. Are you sure you want to close Windows Sandbox? It is asking to you for the permission. Once Windows Sandbox is closed, all of its content will be discarded and permanently lost. So it is giving you the entire fresh system in virtual form. You want whatever test case you can done here. But look, whenever you are going to test case and want to minimize, you can minimize these things. But if you try to close this window, it will ask you one message if you really want to close or not. If you close it, the entire data of this whatever you did in the test mode, you can say that this is the test mode of in virtual sandbox. It will entirely close or delete it permanently directly. So we don't have right now the sandbox because we closed that. So we can freshly open the sandbox, Windows sandbox here, a fresh start of sandbox. It will give you the fresh installations, downloadable test cases every time. Whenever you close and open, it will give a fresh start, a startup of sandbox. So we'll check this file of Node.js is available or not. If available, we'll say that this is the normal one. But if it is not available there, so it is freshly start over here. We'll wait for this open. Look, the same window, like a new laptop is open. The same interface showing here, and we'll just go to the file manager and we check if this file is available or not. Look, this folder is empty, totally empty. No one can say that we already tested something, we downloaded the applications, and it is over there. This is a totally a test mode server in the virtual form, which is we call as a Windows Sandbox. It gives all the parameters, all the features which we need for the testing or development before going to production. That all the features is available in this Windows Sandbox. Right? This was the difference, and this was the explanation of how we use the sandbox and how it looks like. So this is from my side. Now I will close it that and I will request to Mr. Director sir. So you can continue and give the feedback on this. Thank you.
Sandbox provides a virtual environment to test all these uh, like web applications or the development things. Because let us try and understand one thing. Unless and until you deploy the code on the server, web server, how you can check the results, how you can like cross verify the outcomes. So it's very tough job for every reason. We can merge the code, push it to the web server to the CI/CD pipelines, and then cross verify the outcomes. So it's better if you can able to produce the virtual environments on your system and test it before the final versions deployed onto the server. Now, as a beginner, uh, you might get trouble understanding what Team Axiom demonstrated regarding the APIs, because if you understand the APIs, it is having a standard API structures. Let me explain you firstly how we go to the level of API. As a beginner developer, everyone knows about what is function means, right? What is function is a piece of code which which will give you the logic of your inputs, right, and give you the response. Now that, like, to understand that thing, what that the function means, which it's a piece of code, it's a piece of logical code, which will which have a name, right, which have inputs that called as a parameters, and which will give the response as a written type. Right? So in the structure-oriented programming, we can call it as a function which is available in the header file. In case of OOP, we can call it as a method, which gives the object and method reference over there, and it returns. So the methods can be available in the package, right? Your functions can be available in the header files. Now go to the next level. If you're talking about the web server and the development environment, right? This application logic, which consists of the business logic and the data processing logic, which are available on the server. So whenever it has to be in the API form, if it is not a monolithic architecture. So API having a standard structure. So you have to, if you understand the API structure, you have to understand about endpoints, methods, parameters, and the responses. Now endpoints means that entire, like as I told you, the function name, right? But like here in this case, the URL, right? And the means, let's say for example, you are, if you develop the APIs for real estate applications with Axiom, then maybe its standard structure will be HTTPS API dot axiomreality.com/v1 version 1, and then maybe the name of the API and all, right? So this is that entirely things by which you can call that API called as endpoints. Now methods means, like the means, like there are various methods like get, post, put, patch, delete, right? So get means list all the list all the things over there. It's a you're getting something from the as a response, right? Post, which is used for creating certain things, like let's say for example, if you a get method performs read operations, right? The endpoint may be the properties, which is used for list all the properties, right? With all the filters and search parameters, right? So and then another method is called as, like, let's say for example properties, and maybe the properties name is ABC123. Get a single property details. I'm just giving you the details about the real estate application point of view, sort of. Miss, you need endpoint. Hope you understand the endpoint. I'm just explaining in detail for the beginners over there. Endpoints means that it's a name of that particular API. Method and the like the entire link of that particular API. Methods, right? Whether it's a that particular API provides a get method, post method, right? So get to get the response, post to use for the creating all the things. If you want to add a new property listing, put if you want to replace something, right, replace the entire property object. Patch if you want to make a partial update, right, update the, if you want to just update the price from the to the database and all. And delete if you want to remove the property and all, right? So basically it's if you as a beginner, if you want to learn certain things, you learn from the best, right? For guys, if you because if you are observing somebody's code, right, if you are observing somebody's presentation, it looks very complexible and very tough. So but as this is modern way of development, you have to adopt these all the technical stacks what we are discussing, right? So to go to that level over there, so first of all, develop your own understanding, right? What we can explain you the basics of it, right? These are the things. Through this session, you will you will come to know what your target will be, what you have to learn, what you have to explore, right? So and give proper time to it. Understand the things first of all of your own. Go to the mentor, They'll guide you better because they already gone through all the process. So this session is really going to help you out if you want to establish yourself as a full stack developer, right? As I told you, the like backend developer who will understand the database structures, who will understand the application logic and builds the API structures, build the API documentations, right? And as a front end developer, that all the as per the documentations given by the backend developer, you have to test all those APIs and integrate those, right? So I hope the concept of microservices, serverless API, third-party API. Third-party API means like you are just like you are integrating Razor Pay and Stripe or any other. So they are already given you the APIs to integrate directly. So they're providing documentations and you have to consume that all the APIs over there. And then here, if you are just like the difference between the predefined functions and called as user-defined functions, like so the APIs which you developed, right? That is different, and the third-party APIs means which are already produced and given by some other third-party companies, right? Which we can directly use. So like you understand the difference between the REST API, the structure of the API, and like if you are a beginner, you have a lot of things to explore now, right? So go to the basics of it, and believe me, uh, you need to devote, you need to sincerely give that much time to understand that technical stack, right? So give that particular time, and believe me, if you're not understanding something, give time to it, right? Proper time to your brain to understand it. And certainly, because if you want to establish yourself as a developer, there is no alternative than skipping these all the things, right? So I thank you for Team Axiom, especially Shweta, Himanshu, and Sahil, who contributed in the presentations. At the same time, the entire Axiom team who who work hard to make this event successful, right? And you all guys who are watching this live streams and like join the Axiom family to upskill yourself in the technical stacks. I hope the conceptualizations and the practicalizations of everything is clear to you. There is I always in a short durations we cannot give you the entire expertise things, experts guidelines, but at least you will have a roadmap how you can explore these all the technical styles. Do comment us, do write us, do join us, so that together we all can upskill ourselves to serve industry better. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day ahead.
In Axiom Tech Guru, we transform ideas into scalable digital solutions with AI, innovation, and technology that drives real business growth.